Mike Baerlach here to entertain you with talking about my music selection for an 8-hour workday today, in attempt to fill this SD card up. So let's see how this goes. So I was listening to these Halloween compilations, Halloween party musics. I can see where back in the day somebody might buy one of these cassettes for a Halloween party, but what they do basically is they take popular song titles that can easily be correlated to Halloween. For example, this one I got, Halloween Party Music Mix, has got stuff like Sympathy for the Devil, Rolling Stones. Only it's not the Rolling Stones, they're covers. But sometimes that's, when it's a song you've heard a million times in your life, it's kind of refreshing to hear another artist or group of artists take on it. But I will admit, back in the day, I would have been like most people. It's not the original. I'm not buying that. But anyways, also Witchy Woman, because witchy, I guess. That's a Eagles song. I Put a Spell on You. Well, that's more Halloween correlated. I'm most familiar with, I know a lot of people did covered that one, but I'm most familiar with Screamin' Jay Hawkins, which is actually featured on, I think the X-Files soundtrack, one of the X-Files soundtracks, if I'm not mistaken. But I always wondered if Screamin' Jay Hawkins was somehow related to Sophie B. Hawkins. I think I looked it up a while back. I don't think they are anymore. But I used to wonder about that. Superstition. Stevie Wonder, very superstition, writing on a wall. Because superstition, it can be correlated to Halloween, so they put it on a Halloween mix. Devil in Disguise, I'm most familiar with the version that Elvis sang. Bad Moon Rising, John Fogerty, or no, that Clearwater Revival, that band he was with before he had his own thing. He did that Centerfield album, which of course I have on CD, vinyl, and cassette. Black Magic Woman, Santana. But Bad Moon Rising, when the convenience store I worked at when I was a kid, that song would always come on the radio, to the point where the manager of the place would start singing, "There's a bathroom on the right," which at the time, I was working there as a kid, I didn't totally understand, because technically in proximity to where the customers were coming in the door, the bathroom was actually on the left. Unless he was talking about our perspective as employees. Another instrumental track, well, primarily instrumental, called Graveyard Shift. It reminds me a little bit of Genesis Brazilian. Has a Genesis like, minus the harmony. Genesis stuff has more harmony. That song, the last track on Invisible Touch, if I remember correctly, the Brazilian. So they just take and make covers of these popular songs, whose titles can be correlated to Halloween, and they just add sound effects before and after, and in some occasions during the music. And then I moved on to one called Dr. Love's Monster Party Mix, which I have to admit, this one was aimed at more of lovers of Motown and R&B and disco. If I'm being honest, I'm not as familiar with those genre, although there are stuff from that genre, because I listen to everything, that I do honestly like and enjoy. So for this one, in interest of fairness and honesty, I actually had to do a little bit of research. I Googled some stuff. Le Freak Out is a band was originally done by the Sheiks, a group of artists called Chic, I guess. I Love the Nightlife, Alicia Bridge, which I didn't even know that name till I looked it up. Hot Stuff, which I'm ashamed to admit I forgot. That was Donna Summers. Staying Alive, the Bee Gees. All these song titles correlate to Halloween. And then they'll throw a cover of Ghostbusters in the mix. Disco Inferno. Burn, baby, burn. Which is actually done by a band called Tramps, with 2 M's. which I never heard of until I Googled it. I'm Your Boogeyman, that's pretty easy to correlate that to Halloween. That's Casey and the Sunshine Band. And then there was a track called Omen 3, which is got an entity speaking tongue during it. And I Googled it, Magic Affair maybe, but I wasn't sure if that was a band that did a cover of the original or not. I'm still learning. But when I was listening, it was like, yeah, this was on the radio when I was a kid. They're not original, but I can see why somebody would buy a cassette like this for a Halloween party back in the day. But now, in retrospect, like I said, when I was growing up, yeah, I would be like everybody else. It's not the original artist. I ain't buying that. But now it's kind of cool because especially if it's one you've heard a million times, it is kind of cool to. Also, too, sometimes if you don't understand the lyrics in the original, you're like, oh, okay, you hear somebody else singing, and then you can pick up on it, and it's like, oh, that's what they were saying all these years. Lo and behold. These organizations who make these party tapes, just like, Drew's Famous Party Music is a good example of it. They make the music just different enough so that the listeners can recognize the song, but they only have to pay the writer of the song. Yeah, that's how they do it. For example, Thriller, Michael Jackson, they have this added part in there, do 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 through the majority of the song, or if not all the song, and that's that little difference, that little musical difference that. So they only have to pay the writer of the song. They don't have to pay all the performers. They're just the writers. But you have to have a keen ear for music to really, otherwise, if you don't, you're just going to hear it and go, that's not it, and then just that's not the one I like, and then you just for some people it's that simple. So, fill this SD card up. And speaking of Motown, I was listening to an interview from Music Is My Life, I think was the name of the thing. I'd say YouTube or on YouTube. Anyways, they interviewed Gavin Rossdale, and he said that he often struggles to get. He's very much influenced by Motown, and he says that he struggles to get a more harmony on a lot of his songs because the band Bush is pretty hardcore rock. But Gavin says over the years he finds he has to push to get more harmony on the songs that he writes. I thought that was curious. And apparently Come Down is the first song he ever wrote and tried to sell, or tried to, hey, look at this, I wrote this. And it turns out that thing I read in the Tribune years ago is true. Gavin Rossdale really was shy and didn't do a whole lot of talking and let his sister do his talking when he was a young man of 5, 6, 7 years old. All right, I'm just rambling now. I'm hoping to fill this SD card up because I want to post this video and put the new card in. What else can I tell you about? Oh, I was reading some old Archie comics today. I thought I read all the older ones I had. I thought it was on 1980, but there's still a few old ones I haven't gotten to yet. This particular one was from 74, and it's a Christmas one where I guess Betty and Archie are buying Christmas gifts for each other, but they have to sell something that they have or not buy something for themselves to get it. And it cancels out. The gift that they buy for each other kind of cancels each other out because of what they did to get those gifts for each other. But then enter Veronica Lodge, who buys back everything for everybody, and all is well and right in the world. And I'm thinking, wow, must be nice to have friends of means like that. All right, I'm out of topics for discussion, so this SD card's got to be on the verge of being full now. So Mike Perlak, thank you for your time. I can put the new SD card in tonight and get ready because I do have some videos to post, including I want to make a video talking about where I'm at with the show Lex. I'm not quite all the way. I got a few more episodes left in season 3, but I got enough to justify making a video. It really is an intriguing show.